Now this good and bad are two terms which we call evaluative terms. We evaluate certain things and certain acts and certain ideas, certain books, films, so many things they are there. We evaluate almost everything in the world. Some things we say good, some others we say bad. In fact, according to the Buddhist fourfold logic, there are two other possibilities also. Something is good, something is bad, and there are things good and bad. There are some things neither good nor bad. Right? Certain things are, in fact, like that. We don't evaluate them as either bad or good. They are just, we treat them neutral. Some are actually never talk in terms of good and bad. Right. So therefore these two terms are absolutely necessary in our life. Right? In the school, a boy is learning very good, very well. So we say, good boy, good child, good student. Right? And sometimes you go to a clothes shop and buy a nice shirt. And when you bring it home, wife say, beautiful shirt, very nice. The beauty or good of a shirt and good of, let's say, a meal, and good of air conditioning, right? They are all different goods, aren't they? When you say food is good, you think of the taste of it. It tastes good. When the child is good, child doesn't taste any good. Ethical behavior or his curiosity in studying things, his ability to write good essays. These things are good, his ability. Right? Certain actions we do now. We are in the Buddhist Mahavihara listening to a Dhamma talk. People may say, oh, good thing you are doing. Very good thing, isn't it? So, in different contexts, different activities, different things, right? Have thing called good or thing called bad. But good actually be completely isolated when you get it as good. You can't say what color is good, what taste is good, what structure is good. It's an abstract noun. Only in the practical context you give meanings to it. Just good will not mean much. We only know that it's going to be a positive value for something. It's a positive term, bad, negative term. So, how do we know something is good, something is bad? When you buy your shirt or furniture, right, or your telephone, who tell you the goodness and bad things, badness? Originally the advertiser says you. You go by advertisements, isn't it? When you want to select a thing, you normally go by advertisements, television advertisements, radio advertisements, newspaper advertisements, or actually the shop person. You go to the shop and ask, are there any good smartphones these days? Then they will definitely come with his own choice. He says, this is good. This is the latest. This is the most efficient, most long-lasting, very clear sound, etc., etc. So many criteria for his smartphone. So the term good and term bad taken in isolation wouldn't mean much. So advertisers have their ways of evaluating, and the religion has its own evaluation program. When people behave, when people do things, we depend on the religion mostly to find out whether that thing is good or bad. In our religion, Buddhist religion, in Buddhism, the term for good action, good behavior is kusala. And for bad action, bad behavior is akusala. So here you are now doing a kusala kamma. Kusala really means skillful. You know that, don't you? Kusala. Unskilled work when you do, people say, oh, akusala kamma is generating. And there are other terms, punya and papa, more or less similar to this. There are some scholars who want to maintain a sort of difference, but these things really doesn't matter. Kusala and punya are both good. The Buddha has said there is nothing to fear, punya. Ma punyasa bhait, Buddha says, don't fear, punya. Some people, you may have heard, some people say, punya we don't need kusala. Punya will elongate your sansara, suffering, right? So, only kusala. But the same activity, right, from the perspective, you may call dana, for instance. Dana, you know, right? Alms giving is punya kamma. And it is kusala kamma too. Right? From the perspective you are looking at it. Sometimes we feel, we don't get enough food these days. Maybe that we have not given dana in our previous life. So you think you give dana in order to have no such problems in your sansaric journey. Because for sansaric journey you must have a bank account. Otherwise, your credit card is merit card. Merits we need. Yeah. So for that, merits, and then we want to avoid demerit, papa, and akusala. But when you come to sort of list, you may have some, a bit of confusion. For instance, kusala, in traditional Buddhist lists, you may find refraining from killing, refraining from stealing, refraining from sexual vulgar behavior and like that. So all come in sort of negative terms. You may think, is kusala negative? Is punya negative? You may ask. But when you study more, you really know that has a very positive, good meaning. But sometimes some people can raise. But when you go to the punya list, you have very positive list. Dhanamaya punya kamma, like that. Dana, sila, bhavana, all this becomes punya kamma in the other list. So the list-wise, you may think, maybe there is a difference. But actually, there isn't such thing. But lists actually are available in many religions. You might have heard of the 10, in Judaism and Christianity? 10 commandments. They are commandments. Do you have in Buddhism also commandments? We have no commandments. Buddha doesn't give us a list of commandments. Why? Why can't he give commandments? Later we find out, right? Buddha has not given us commandments. Instead, we lay people have 5, Panchasila. And there are many other ethical teachings, of course. There are such a lot of ethical guidelines. But when it comes to sort of sila, regulations day to day that we have to sort of practice, Panchasila. And venerables, such a lot, 220. 220. If they break this 220, then there is a judicial procedures, 7 judicial procedures. So coming together, they become 227 for venerables to chant when they meet every 4 Uposatha days. Uposatha Kamma is their assembly. There is a formal assembly for them to sort of do confessions. That confession is very different from other religions' confessions. Other religious people confess their demerit, wrong activities, akusala. In Buddhism, impossible to do any confession of akusala and get rid of the effect of akusala. No. The venerables are confessing not their akusala. Right? The Buddha has given them the rules to live by, and when there is a rule broken, most of the rules are not akusalas, but they are the laws in their society. So just because a monk breaks a rule, he is not going to be a sinner. He is going to suffer in the hell. That we have to keep in mind. Some people think the venerable does a small mistake. Ayyo, Papa Kamma he is going to be suffering in hell. No. Those are the society laws. Now you are a Buddhist society, you may have your own rules and regulations. Those are broken. It doesn't mean that you are going to hell. Right? Mr. Leslie will not send you to hell. You break a small rule and say, I send you to the death god. Yamaraja, the Indian belief of death god, evil god. God but evil means that he is ready to punish you. Those are Indian beliefs actually. Buddha has not given that sort of throne and crown to a person to punish us. The punishing and all these things, if at all it is punishment, it comes as a result of karma. Natural laws, there are natural laws in the world. You know that, pancha niyama. Right? Biological laws, physical laws, psychological laws. Like that, there are laws. Niyama Dhammas, most probably you have learned when in your Dhamma talks. Utu niyama, bija niyama, chitta niyama, dhamma niyama, like that. All sort of niyamas are the natural laws. So karma is also a niyama. Our bad behavior, right, will not be penalized by somebody. It's the naturally the bad results will come to us. So Buddhist definition or theory of karma actually slightly different from other religious guidance. Other religions really tell you, do this. If not, the God will punish you. Right? So they live in fear of punishment. Right? In Buddhism, there is no such a judge to punish you. And the other thing is that, don't misunderstand this, other thing is that we can, to use the sort of British term, British writer has used this term in his book, the title of the book is also like that, karma is negotiable. Right? One British Buddhist, Kulananda, he writes, it is negotiable means it is my own production. The karma is my product. If I produce this thing, there is a reasonable flexibility for me to handle that, manipulate little bit. So in a sort of moment of, carelessness, you might have done something small wrong. Right? That does not mean you absolutely penalizable in the hell. Right? Buddha says, it's like the moon getting covered with a cloud. Right? And the cloud is gone, the moon again shines. Right? So, Buddha says, certain small karmas, kusalena pitiyati. Covered by, compensated by good activities. Right? You have to be skillful for that. Not automatically happens, right? Yeah. So when someone who has done very small something wrong, right? Then with his good behavior, he can erase that as well, right? Right? It's like the moon, right? Appearing after covering with a cloud. Abha Chandima. That went well. My name is also there. Abha Chandima. Right? And the Venerable who taught you Sutta for last 2 months is also Chandima. Right? Moon. Right. So, in Buddhism we have that freedom, flexibility, negotiability. Right? You might have heard of the story of Angulimala. He happened to, because he was misled by his classmates, right? His name is non-violent, Ahinsaka, former name. Such a boy was misled by his others. He was actually against him. There was some tailmongering by classmates, and the teacher got very angry, and teacher said, what are you going to give me as your present after learning, graduation? No other thing, I only want a finger necklace made of human fingers. Right? He was innocent and he was gullible and he was not critical of his teacher's word, anything. He said, yes, sir, I will. And he went to forest and started killing people. Right? So, the legend says that 999, we may not believe that much, right? So while he was doing all this, the king came to know of this, and king surrounded the place. He wanted to arrest, that the Buddha came to know in advance. Buddha went there and got him under Buddha's control. He made him a good fellow. He became ordained and became an arahant as well. Right. So his name is, even today, his name is very respectfully remembered. When there is a pregnant lady and when she wants blessings, what the Venerable does, he goes there and chant Angulimala's assertion of truth, Satya Kiriya. Right? Angulimala in his act of truth says, after I was born in the Aryan birth, I have not killed anyone. That means when he, after becoming an arahant. Right? So that much power he could generate. And that power is kappatai. Even today that power of Angulimala's assertion of truth is still here. Any new case, Venerable goes and say, Angulimala made this act of truth, and by that power may you be healed, healthy, blessed, and everything. Right? Everything happens. So powerful, right? So you can see that negotiation is possible, right? Because Angulimala jumped out of the field where karma is operative. That's what he did. In the sansaric context, where we live now, Malaysia is a field where karma is in operation. So in Malaysia you can avoid. But Malaysia is part of sansara. In this sansaric Malaysia, you come out of that and jump to spiritual Malaysia, where you are an arahant. Right? In that particular field, spiritual field, after liberation, in that liberated field, no influence from evil karma. Then you are a saint. You are like that. In Buddhism, right, karma is negotiable, and good and bad definition, therefore, is different from other religions. Ours is more philosophical, more psychological, more sociological. Right? Even though Buddhism is, by definition, a religion, not by the Western definition, Indian definition. In the Eastern definition, in the East, every religion has a philosophy. Non-philosophical religions are not here, even Confucius, right? His philosophy, social philosophy. Lao Tzu, spiritual philosophy, right? And Jain, Mahavira, right? Spiritual philosophy. There is philosophy. And Jain Mahavira presented philosophy, logic, psychology, all that, right? In Buddhism also you have philosophy, logic, psychology, sociology, everything. Social teachings are there, psychological analysis of human mind and how to sort of develop human mind. All these things you can find in Buddhism. And it's a very, very highly developed logic also, Buddhist logic, right? Some people, you can perhaps remember, the Soviet writer, one Soviet writer has written a very thick book on Buddhist logic. Shabatsky, right? Like that. There is a Buddhist logic, Buddhist psychology, right? Some Western psychologists have written that their psychology is more primitive in comparison to Buddha's psychology. They say there are certain areas that they have not touched, but Buddha has touched those areas. Right? So our religion, right, is a very advanced religion. Our religion does not give you any commandments, right? Your identity, human identity, right, has been very well recognized in our religion, Buddhist religion. In Buddhism, you all are seed Buddhas, right? Everybody has this tiny possible seed, which one day will become a perfect Buddha, right? So all these people sitting in front of me are future Buddhas. So ladies may be thinking, how come? We are ladies. Right? Right. The traditional Theravada person may say, don't worry lady, next life you are going to be a man. That is going to be, it's a changeable thing. Right? You believe that? Next life, we are going to be a man. Good. Happy? Not happy, ne? Some like to be continuously women. Yes, yes. Because womanhood is also a very beautiful thing. Right? Huh? Well, I read in a Singapore newspaper when I was there, some girl had written an article to the paper saying that there is nothing more beautiful than women's body. In the world, we possess the most beautiful, attractive body. And she writes, don't tell anybody, she writes, male body is horrible. We don't believe that, do we? Male body is also equally attractive. Otherwise, how could these people in the Greece make that David image? Right? David is very, very handsome. Right. Although we don't call human, a male person, a beautiful person, we don't use that term. In English language we say, boy is handsome, girl is beautiful. Right? But this handsomeness is also something that should be admired. Not that no one should say horrible. But you see, she is very proud of her womanhood. So maybe ladies here are also. But it's a very changeable thing. Right? A very changeable thing in every life. You see, the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara went to China and became a woman. Now Kanyin, ladylike, isn't it? Sex change in the same life. Don't take it seriously, I'm just referring it as right, because the Mahayana Buddhists will say it's not sex change, it's because the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara is very, very kind. More you are kind, more look like a woman. That's what it happened to Avalokiteshvara, they say. So I was just using it, anyway, right. So male-female thing, right, is something that is negotiable, as karma itself is negotiable, right. So in Buddhism you have this freedom of, changing it in the samsaric journey. We are in a journey. Malaysia is only a station. Next life you will be in England or America, or maybe in Sri Lanka. Who knows? Isn't that venerable? Let's keep in mind that some of these people will be in Sri Lanka. And we might be in Malaysia. The places are changing, or maybe in heaven, we may look down upon all the people in the world from the heaven. That's more enjoyable, isn't it? Anyway, right, we are in a samsaric journey. In this journey, Buddhism says we all have that seed. Mahayana Buddhists say it is indestructible Buddha Bija. Avinashvara Buddha Bija in Sanskrit. Avinashvara means indestructible. Buddha Bija, Buddha seed. We all have that. One day, any lady here, don't worry, can become a Buddha. Right? And with the sixfold rays emitting from your body, you will be sitting cross-legged and people will, in their thousands, come and worship. Nice, isn't it? Anyway, right. So, having seen this type of potential in us, the Buddha did not give us a 10 commandments like strict laws. Then you may ask, how come then we have Panchasila? But Panchasila is never translated into any language as don't kill, don't steal. No. Panchasila is given in Pali, not as don't kill. Good and bad in Buddhism is explained in a very logical, systematic, sociological, psychological base. Because Buddha's main teaching is Paticca Samuppada. You know that, dependent origination. Right? Now you are here because of dependent origination. Right? The Buddhist Mahavihara Society, the Sasana Abhivruddhi Vardhana Society, has arranged that we have this meeting here today, and you got the invitations, and you thought, okay, we would attend and listen. And the whole is here made by the society long time ago, and it is strong enough to take our weight. The carpenters, masons, and everybody did a good job. Otherwise, we will fall down. But so that is one factor. The whole is here, comfortable and everything. AC is here, light is here, and the society has arranged this. That invitation has gone to you, and I am here. So many factors together made this meeting possible. That way, all our life is also. So many factors come together, and it's possible. So under this dependent origination principle, we are all related to each other. I cannot survive without you, and you cannot survive without your colleagues, friends. Everybody's existence is depending on other people's support. At least we have a mother and father. The minimums of small society, father and mother. Right? Then you have brothers, relations, various relations, grandpa, grandma, all that. And you have children, right? So we all live interrelatedly, happily interrelated. No one is an island, as the English statement goes. Everyone is. So the Buddha's ethical code takes this as the main foundation of his ethical theory, moral theory. So instead of just saying giving is good, killing is bad, like that, he tells us why giving is good, why killing is bad, gives reason, and makes us accept that on the social, psychological terms. No one can say, I don't think killing is bad, killing is good. Right? Because Buddha argues in that way. With the argument, he gives us the rule. He doesn't say, don't kill, because Buddha prohibits. There is no such thing. Buddha doesn't prohibit. Right? Buddha never assumes that I am a person who came to this world to give people rules of behavior. No. Therefore, we Buddhists remember very well that Buddha has given us the reason why for all this. So that is why in my introduction to the poster, I have put, do we all have to depend on the book for good and bad? Some people, some other religions have to depend on the book. They will turn the book and say, has our master told this is bad? Oh, bad, bad, bad. We don't have to turn the book. Right? Turning the book means we are becoming rather enslaved. Because Buddha says we have freedom of thinking. Buddha has recognized that we humans are potential Buddhas. We can think of good and bad on ourselves, no depending on the book. Right? Need not depend on the book. We ourselves can decide. Right? How come that there are certain principles that Buddha has given us? Right? Not depending on the book. Right? In Sri Lanka there is a folk tale about Mahadana Mutta. Right? Mahadana Mutta is the greatest knowledgeable person. The literal meaning is that. Right? He knows everything according to the legend. So this man had a gang of followers. He has trained these people always to go by master's word. So in order to keep them in that particular discipline, he has given a book. So every time I say something, you write in the book. And so when you want to take a decision, turn the book and find out what I have said. Always they turn in the book. One day when he was walking in the street, he fell onto a pit actually. Trapping pit. Fell into that. And it's very difficult for him to come out of it because it was a trap. What you call it? Pitfalls. So, he asked the followers, his gang of followers, the 15 about them, wasn't it, Venerable? About 15. Asked them, take me out. They looked to the book and say, Master, it's not stated in the book. Right? So, he couldn't come out. So when somebody was walking in the street, saw him in, asked the student, why don't you, not in the books. So that man, in fact, volunteered to go and find out a ladder, put deep into the pit and took the master. Master immediately said, take the book. Right. When your master gets into a pit, take him out. So we are not such fellows, right? We have to decide. We can decide. So we are given the technique, the rules by the Buddha. Therefore, when we take Panchasila, we don't just say, refrain from killing. We have certain other terms. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhyami. Sikkhapadang means the training path, this training project, training path. Samadhyami means willingly undertake. I take it, I agree, because my own choice. Right? In all Panchasilas you have this Samadhyami. It's my taking, not that Buddha is giving me. So, how should I take it? That also explained by the Buddha. In all five, right, the justification is there. Now, when it comes to first one, let's examine that one. First one, it says that, Buddha says that you must look at the world, look around, and to everyone, sabbesang jivitang piyang. For everyone, life is dear. So, to you, life is dear, and to others also, life is very precious. Nobody wants to get himself killed. I don't like to be killed by somebody, so I must understand everybody's nature, universal feature is that nobody wants to be killed. So I don't want to be killed. So I must, as the English saying goes, to get into other people's shoes. I must understand how other people feel because they are like me. Yata ahang tata tuang. How I am, you are also the same. Right? So Buddha says, he gives the principle. Whenever you want to do something to some people, right, you analyze whether this thing will be enjoyed by the other person. Would he like this? Right? As I don't like to be killed. Others don't also like to be killed. So logically, I understand that killing is bad. Only then I take the rule. Right? Sabbesang jivitang piyang. Life is dear to everybody. And sabbe satta sukha kama. All beings like to be happy. They want to be happy. Sabbe satta dukkha patikkula. All beings reject the idea of suffering. They don't want to suffer. Dukkha patikkula. Amaritu kama. Don't wish to get killed. Right? So Buddha gives all this list for us to think. In that way we know that if life is dear to me, life is dear to other people also. So something that I don't like others to do to me, I shouldn't do to others. Because we are all human beings. The first thing is that. We are all human beings. Everybody has father, mother and everything. Everybody wants to live long life. So understanding this, even the animals are the same. Right? You try to kill a cockroach, it will run for its life. Even a small cockroach likes to live. Right? Right? When you see the house lizard, right? Some people kill house lizards. I don't know why. Anyway, this is not a serpent or something, but not poisonous animal, right? They also have to live. Every small ant wants to live. Life is dear even to ant, right? Not only to elephant, right? So, what we should do? Respect their right to life. If I like to keep my right to life, even animals like to keep their right to life, so I make it a principle, make it a idea. My measure of my ethical living is, I respect other people's right to life. I don't kill, right? Panatipata pativirato, Buddha says, refrain from killing. And then Buddha says, Lajji dayapanno, cultivate the positive qualities of being ashamed of killing. If you are killing other people, you have to be ashamed of yourself, because what you don't like others to do to you, you do it to others. What a shame, Buddha says. Feel shame, lajji. Dayapanno, cultivate the attitude of kindness, compassion to others. Be friendly towards them. Lajji dayapanno. Nihita dando, nihita satto. Throw away your weapons, Buddha says. In India, those days, the clubs were one type of weapons and the cutting sword is the other type. So both Buddha says, throw your sword away, throw your club away. Nihita dando, nihita satto. Throw them away. And behave as if you love everyone. Right? Spread your loving kindness to everyone. Radiate love. So Buddha's message in the first precept is like that, justified, psychologically, sociologically. Life is dear to everyone. So Buddha knows the nature of human beings. And the other second one, let's say, the adinna dana. Right? Why stealing is bad? Some people will argue with you. In your religion, stealing is bad. Why bad? Right? We say, I don't carry all my things when I go to Buddhist Vihara. Right? All your gold jewelry and money, checkbook and everything, right? And your shirts, trousers, many things are at home now. You just lock the door and brought the key. You haven't employed any security firm to protect your house, have you? Mr. Leslie? Any arrangement for security guards to look after when you are away? No. He trusts his neighbors. Trust my dog. Trust his dog even, yes. Yes. And everybody, right? When you go out alone, your own children can take things without your permission. But you trust them. So you have many things. And you put your money in the bank, trusting the bank manager. He's not going to play fool. Right? You trust the bank. Right? Right? So, you have to trust many people. If you break the trust, life is going to be very, very, right, suffering. Very much suffering. If you have to think here while sitting for listening to the talk, if you have to think about the jewelry that you left at home, always thinking of your jewelry, necklace, and even gents now have some sort of band, isn't it? So many expensive things. Are you thinking of these things? Now I am here without any of my books. I have a home which is like a bookshop. Many thousands of books. I trust my children not to sell them when I am away. Right? If that happens, life is suffering. Well, recently one school teacher, lady teacher, came to complain to me that when she was out, the husband had sold her books. And she is now crying. So that is why adinna dana is bad. What is not given, you don't take. But Buddha says, Dinnadai. When somebody gives, take it. Right? Right? This evening, Brother Leslie gave me a very good, expensive, sweet chocolate. Keep it in my pocket. Must put it in the fridge. So, he gave it to me, so I took it. Seeing it, he has it in his hand, I would, if I were to wait until he put it aside to do something, then take it and put it in my pocket. Very bad, ridiculous, isn't it? So Buddha says, Dinnadai dinna patikanki. Take what is given. Enjoy what is given. Appreciate what is given. He is not against that. But he says, Adinna dana pativiratu. Refrain from taking what is not given. Right? When it is given, accept it, thanks. Appreciate it. Giving is, in Buddhism, giving is appreciated very much. There are so many types of givings. When you give dana, that is because of your faith. Right? When you give it to a friend because you appreciate friendship. When you give your children because you love children. When you give your wife because you love your wife. This is human relationships. Buddha knows the value of that. That's why he added to the explanation of second rule, Dinnadai dinna patikanki. Take what is given. Appreciate what is given. But refrain from taking what is not given. Right? So, no one can say, it is because Buddha said, don't take what is not given, I am not taking. No, no, no. You can say, I have my own reasons. Buddha gave us our own reasons. Buddha makes us think. We are convinced that what we are following is good. Some people in some religions do things that they don't like, but because their religion says, do this. We don't have anything like that. Our religion does not put any weight on you, right? Anything that painful, anything that you have to do against your heart, no. You live according to your heart. And Buddha gives us why we should do certain things and why you should refrain from things. And if logically you are also convinced, take that path voluntarily. That's why Sikkhapada Samadhiyam. I take it voluntarily to get into the training path which is given that way. Right? And the Kamesa Michachara is also the same. Who likes his wife to run away with another fellow when you are abroad or something? Everybody wants to live together with beautiful love. So Buddha says, refrain from starting unnecessary secret relationship with other people's wives. Depending on the culture actually. In certain cultures you can have several wives. But in Indian culture, only very rich people could afford. Some kings are reported to have had Antakpura, they call it. It's internal city. Within the premises, they have a city-like structure where so many girls, so many wives, for men, for him. But Buddhism does not approve that. That's their Indian culture, right? In some civilizations, some religions, the multiple wives are possible. But Buddha says, follow the law of the country. And according to the Buddhist ethics, that you must love your wife, wife must love your husband. From this mutual love, mutual appreciation, it's a contract. Honor that. So, as we do not like that to happen to our family, right? Someone disturbing our family, harmony in the family, we should not harm other people's family life. So it's mutual understanding. So you can very openly talk to other people's wives without any bad thinking. That is possible only because you are a nice man. If you are a womanizer, bad fellow, degenerated morals, no one will allow his wife to talk to you. Then human relations collapse, civilization collapse. But people must have that sort of friendly environment where everybody can do, everybody can talk to their friends' wives without any bad thought. Right? Many religions practice that, right? Even in the Bible it is said that when you look with lust at your friend's wife, then immediately you have broken the rule. Right? So that way many religions are interested in keeping people moral. Right? And the next one is very important, good and bad, when you think of musavada. Why musavada is bad? Some people say, oh, it's fun to say nonsense, fun to make jokes, fun to say lie. Not that side that the Buddha is addressing. Right? Buddha is addressing you that you deceive people by telling lies. Because language is for what? Language is for communication. Language is for communication, truth, meaningful things. But if you keep on lying, you will bring the respect of language, the dignified place of language down. So you will be known to other people as a liar. They come to know that there is no meaning in communicating with you. Because every time you open your mouth, you lie. So what is the meaning of communicating? So if everybody is a liar, why should we have a language? Right? Or every time everybody open their mouth to deceive other people, language is not the tool of deception. Language has to be communicative tool, trustable, right? So, the respect of the usefulness of the language, right? Buddha protects by asking us to refrain from musavada, right? It doesn't mean that you have to use, you should tell truth to bring disaster to society, right? That time, according to the instruction Buddha gave to a person in Anguttara Nikaya, says there are times that you should shut up. Shut up is also important. There are times that you shouldn't say anything, right? Isn't that wonderful, sir? Certain things that people ask, then if you tell, you know that something disastrous will happen. So, you shut up. I have read the book called Shut Up. The title of the book is Shut Up. That's a different purpose. That book is written by a French lady. She was working in a company. In the company, she joined the company by presenting a false certificate. In the school, you have school leaving certificate. In our country, it's called GCE, Ordinary Level Examination. Here you may be having a different one, General Certificate of Education, right? To become office clerk, office assistant, right? A peon's job in some countries. Office assistant, you need to have at least that examination passed. This lady didn't pass that. So in that country it was possible to bribe someone and get a false certificate made. Right? False certificate made. So she got that done and presented it to the company. The company employed her as an office assistant, the lowest job. Then, but although she has not passed the examination, she was good at work. So when she performed the duties well, the company promoted her to be a clerk. And after that promoted to an executive. Gradually she was so clever in became a member of director board also. In some companies that is done from the employers also. They give one post for a person working in the company. So she was given a director's post also. And she kept the secret for such a long time, right? Nobody knew. But she has a very good friend, lady friend. And time to time they go to pub to sip a beer. And one day while she was doing this, she thought of telling the secret to the friend. You know that I am, although I am in this high position, right? My certificate I presented was a bogus one. In 2 days' time, entire company knew the secret. Because that woman was the best friend of this woman. But she had her best friend, another one. She told that best friend. And she had another best friend, she told to another best friend. So everybody's best friend. Then 2 days' time, entire company knew the secret. The company immediately summoned a meeting. And at the meeting, she was asked, is it true? Then she had to admit, yes, it is true. Immediately sacked from the job. So now jobless, what to do? She wrote a book of the danger of sharing secret information even with the best friend. Right? And she got a lot of good income. Because very attractive title also. Shut up. Never tell your personal secret thing to anybody. So, Buddha wouldn't advise that way about the falsehood, but Buddha would say, there are times that you have to not to talk, be silent. One Sri Lanka monk followed that, venerable. In our king's days, pre-Christian era, right, 200 years before the Christ was born, there was a Sri Lankan king who had a quarrel with the brother. He wanted to kill the brother. Right? So he was running after the brother with a sword. And the brother entered into a temple and asked the monk, Venerable sir, save my life, save my life. The monk said, yeah, under the bed. Hide yourself under the bed. Right? He was under the bed. And then the king, this king came. Actually, he was not coronated that time. He was the crown prince. So he took the sword and came. Venerable, did you see? My brother came here. The Bhante sat on the bed and stand up. And said, can't you see he's not on the bed? He's not on the bed. The king knew, the prince, royal prince knew Bhante wants to protect him. That's why saying this. I didn't ask whether my brother is on the bed. I asked something else. He is saying, brother is not on the bed. So he turned back. Thinking that it should not be, ethically correct to argue with the monk and take the brother from under the bed and kill him. It's not good to do in that temple. So he went out, but he was hiding near the wall. Bhante came to know this, but Bhante wanted to save the prince. So what he did was, there was a casket with dead bodies to be taken out of the temple. Put the prince into a casket and closed it. And asked some 4 monks, carry this as if a monk is dead. And where is safe, let him run. So the monks were carrying. So the crown prince thought, monk is doing special work to protect his life. This is ridiculous. So he went to the casket, knocked it and said, brother, it's criminal to travel on the back of monks. Ridiculous, you are doing that. Anyway, I respect the monks, so I don't kill you. Forgiven. So that sort of occasions are there that a white lie. Some people say it's a white lie. It is lie, not lying. Not lying. That's another English term, but I have forgotten that. So there are things happen like that. So what Buddha wanted is to maintain the trustworthiness of language, because all communication is done. Human civilization has come to this developed situation because of the progress of communication, right? So and the other one I have no time to discuss it. Its justification is that no one likes to get himself disturbed by drunken people, drunkards. So Buddha says, Buddha is a little bit careful. In other rules, he did not actually put the reason into the rule itself. Here, in the fifth one, Panchasila, fifth Sila, Suramere, Majja, Pama, Dattana, give the reason also, which causes you to delay your work, to lose your composure of mind. Drinking is such a thing, so I take the training path of refraining from that. So, when you make this training path, when you take this Panchasila regulation, you, in addition to saying that I will refrain from intoxicants, you say why you are refraining, because it brings my composure, my mental composure down, it will harm the social situations where you like to have sort of decent communication, etc. It's added to that, because it's very difficult to convince people that they should refrain from drinking. Very difficult. Even Buddhists sometimes drink, right? But in that case, I must thankfully mention my students in Singapore. When I was teaching them about the fifth rule, Panchasila, I asked, what is the sila that you find the easiest to keep? They said, fifth one. Fifth one. I asked, how come? In Sri Lanka, some people say it's very difficult. No. It is only just that thought you have to make. I will not drink, and thereafter you are not drinking. So wonderfully easy. Right? So Singapore students are like that. They said, easiest thing is that. Anyway, this has shown that Buddha gives us reason why. Right? So, in summary, when you decide good and bad, from the Panchasila we learn, the Buddha is first thinking about the motive. In Buddhist philosophy, Buddha says, if the motive is raga, dosha, moha, the motive is the very broad mental attitude that you have against. If your thought is, the motive is bad, action is bad. Think that way. And the intention, Buddha says, intention is harming somebody, yourself or others. Buddha says, harming yourself is also bad. Harming others is also bad. So, if you intend to do any harm to others, so Buddha says, before you do anything, think whether this act is going to be harmful to me or to others or to both parties, then I will refrain from doing that. Right? Intention. And thirdly, Buddha says, think of the results. Two types of results. Social results and the sansaric results. Social results we can see that other people are going to be harmed, life is going to be lost, property is going to be lost, because according to United Nations, the basic two human rights are property, right to property, right to life. First two sealers are relating to those two. Therefore, we think of those. It is going to harm basic rights of people. This is the third, social consequences. You can see that, but the sansaric consequences you cannot see, but you can infer. Conjecturally, you can think this type of action will definitely be a result of sansaric suffering. So, in summary, any action if you are going to do to find out whether it's bad or good, you have to use three criteria. The one is that how is the motive behind your action? Secondly, what is the intention of your action? Thirdly, what are the consequences? So when you think that intention is, the motive is good, not raga, not dvesha, not moha. You are familiar with these terms, right? If your thinking is kind, compassion, helping, all good positive thoughts, okay, good. And intention not to harm anyone but to help others, then it's the good action. Thirdly, the consequences are going to be socially good, in sansarically also good. So, it's going to be good action. If you get the negative results, action you shouldn't do. So you yourself can use this even if you forget your Panchasila. Even if you don't have Kusala list or Akusala list or Punya list. If you just know these three, you can decide what is good, what is bad. No need to go to library and get books to find out whether Buddha has prohibited this. Okay? Thank you, and I can give you some time to ask questions.
Professor, just to look in terms of the three things, that you were saying, motive, intention, and the social, what they call it,
motive, intention, and consequences.
Okay.
Right.
So basically, sometimes it depends on the person. Because, because a lot of time, it actually depends on the person, you see. So certain things, we may say is bad. But to that person, they say it's good. I'm doing it for the well-being, or for my people and all the stuff, you see. So how do we reconcile that?
That's right. That's a very good question, because that is why Buddha says always that we first cultivate Sammaditthi. In the Eightfold Path, first item is Sammaditthi. Michaditthi person can have that type of wrong justification for his activities. So Buddhists are starting with Sammaditthi, correct view, wholesome view. So when you have Sammaditthi, you know that we have to behave as good people, because the idea that killing is good is a Michaditthi. Killing cannot be good because no need of religious guidance. We can think ourselves, right? That way, Sammaditthi is very important. Sammaditthi, Sammavaca, Sammakamata, like that you have Eightfold Path. So we Buddhists will never have any funny thoughts regarding our training paths, because we have Sammaditthi, right? The correct view. Yeah. That's why we learn Buddhism. We learn Buddhism, not that learning will make us emancipated. Learning will give us Sammaditthi, correct view. Without correct view, everything you do may be Michha. Michhaditthi person will have Michha thinking. Wrong, people have wrong philosophy, act wrongly, talk wrongly, live wrongly. So everything will be Michha. But we Buddhists start with Samma. And how do we get Sammaditthi? By listening to Dhamma, by getting training, by reading suttas, that way. Right? So that's the solution we can have. Help that person with Sammaditthi.
Scientific views and religious views always argue each other, right? How to reconcile the problem there?
Can you please explain a little more? I didn't follow actually.
like scientists got their own views, right?
Scientists have their own views. Yes.
And religious monks all have their own.
All have their views.
Yeah. They always argue, right?
Conflicting views, scientists and religions. Yeah.
So,
but,
how the society...
How to compromise, you mean?
Yes.
How to compromise science and religion. Because we in that case, some religions have the problem. But we Buddhists don't have that problem, because the Buddha's views, so far, no scientist can have rejected the Buddha's any social, psychological conception. All the Buddha's teaching now, very recently, the sort of Taoist, a psychologist, has written in his book that Buddha's psychology, right, seems much more far ahead than our psychological things. And after the quantum physics developed, now they know that Buddha's view on the physical universe are scientific, right? And the atom, those days people were thinking that cannot be destroyed. It's the last, but now they know that it is also composed with 3 other particles and it can be destroyed. So many things that every day our Buddha's discoveries are proven to be scientifically also agreeable. And therefore we don't have much clash. The Buddha didn't say that the supreme agent created the world or something like that. Buddha's view on the evolution of world system, right, is accepted by some scientists, right? Evolution, theory of evolution. And the universe, the other day I presented the picture of the Buddha's universe, right? Sangvatta Kappa and Vivatta Kappa and the dark pockets and galaxy system. All these things are agreeable to scientists also. And the sociologists, when they talk about the society, right, they have also agreed with the Buddha's social views. So, for instance, Buddha's rejection of race prejudice, caste prejudice, and equality of one species. Humans are one species according to the Buddha. And scientists also say, yes, although there are color differences and certain, still the humans are humans. All human beings, they have, according to their environment, have changed their physical form, skin color and all that. But all are human beings, right? There is that way, many things the Buddha said are scientific. That is why so confidently, recently Dalai Lama has said, the day that Buddha's teachings are rejected by science, I take the side of science. He was so confident that science and Dhamma will go together.
I mean, the 5 precepts, even for Buddhism, we take the training, everything. In fact, other religions also have it similarly. My question is that this is supposed to be good, But why? Sure. But why in the present world we are all in a mess? We start killing. We do everything that is opposite of it. What is your possible explanation of such thing happening?
The thing is that Buddha has seen man as a very lucky, original, powerful, all that. At the same time, he has seen that man has very strong certain tendencies. Very strong bad tendencies are also there. So some human beings, even though they are convinced by religious masters, the Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad and Confucius, Lao Tse, Mahavira, so many religious masters have talked about the ethical life, the beauty of compassion, kindness, understanding. But human beings are born in samsara with raga, dvesha, moha. And humans themselves find very difficult to control. So much raga in us. Dvesha, anger. People get like this, angry. Very soon you can make a man angry, and it takes a lot of time to calm down him. So people in that way, right? So have negative energy as well, right? So that is why religions are needed, right? Religions are absolutely necessary to make this uncontrollable animal, right, to keep under control. Although human beings have that much potential, right? They have changed the universe. You see, these type of buildings and these facilities, there was nothing when we were in the forest, in the jungle, when we were living uncivilized aboriginals, right? There was a time. But now look, the way we dress, the way we talk, we travel, we fly even. So much we have done. So much positive action, active spirit is there. But still there is a destructive side also to human beings, and that needs to be controlled. That's why some religions, without giving as much freedom as Buddha has given, right, try to control them very tightly, still failing, because human nature is such that sometimes it can be very destructive too, uncontrollable too.
So Professor, can I ask, are human beings born evil? They need to be controlled with condition and religion, or is it we are born good, but when we live, we learn all the negative things?
We cannot generalize.
Are we born good or bad?
Yeah, we cannot generalize that human beings are born evil, because every human being has his own personality, his own character. Some people are born with more evil propensities. Some are born having practiced so many good qualities in samsara. Some are born as a born good fellows. Some when you in the school you may remember, some boys were very nice, very friendly, very helpful, but some were very nasty, right? They were doing very nasty things, right? But with some training, the teachers managed to get them into proper path, right? So we can't generalize saying that human beings are born cruel. No, some are little more, comparatively more cruel than some others. So there are complex characters human beings are. Very difficult to understand. That is, the Sigmund Freud said, he even with that much psychological knowledge, he could not really understand women. We can say not only women, even men we cannot understand. Very complicated human beings. But still, the Buddha saw the potential, very valuable potential that every being has. Right? That's why Buddha, even without thinking control, he gave us voluntary training program. We have to volunteer to become enlightened. In other religions, that concept of enlightenment is not there. Right? Buddhism is one religion that you can become the 100% similar to the master. In other religions, the master is not allowing us to become 100% similar to him. He is also under somebody. Right? So, religions are different, but all religions are aiming at putting some control or training or some form of understanding at least among human beings to become good fellows.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, good evening, Professor.
Good evening.
In our samsaric life, sometimes it's not easy to reconcile between akusala and kusala actions. Then one example in point is, say, in the village, in the olden time, they are unfortunate to have a group of robbers, or bandits, they come to rob their village quite often. They come down, they rob, they kill. This has been going on for quite some time. This is just a story. So until such a time that the villagers feel that they cannot stand it anymore. So they group themselves out, organize themselves, and I think they managed to catch the robbers and kill the robbers. And then after that, they are able to live peacefully. So these are akusala action. But is it bad action?
Yeah, that is why Buddhism employs fourfold logic. In Buddhism, it's not just kusala, akusala. There are mixed karmas. The Buddha himself has said that kusala and akusala together some actions. And some are without kusala or akusala. Right? So fourfold possibilities are there. So when now you have heard of this person, Robin Hood, right? Robin Hood character. Taking from people who have and he gives it to poor people. So people have this quandary, people wondering, was it good or was it bad? Right. In one side he is stealing, what is not given, he is taken by force. There he is bad. And then he gives it to poor suffering people. There he is good. So it's a mixed karma, right? So he will, when he get the results also, he will get mixed results. Mixed results. Your choice has to be as much good as possible, because it is not any person, God or anyone according to Buddhism, it is karma niyama. Right? So naturally, good, if you sort of harvest good things, if you sort of sow good things, harvest will be good. If you sow bad things, the harvest will be bad. So, yadisang vapate bijang, tadisang harate palang. The Buddha has said, the way you sow, you reap your harvest. So, when you do it, you have to think, right? I am thinking of doing, but at the same time I am doing bad as well. Right? So, Buddha has leave it to us to be judged. We are our judges. Right? Buddha doesn't say, you go to hell, you go to heaven. Right? So that is why Buddha has respected our intelligence, the ability to come to decisions. Right? That Buddha has respected and given us knowledge. With that knowledge, we must understand according to dependent origination principle. Right? The factors come together and make it a sort of salad. Right? So you have to decide the taste of your salad. We have to undergo the result. So think before you act.
Is there anything in the scriptures, in the suttas, that says there is a co-relationship between the action and the consequence? Example is you kill an ant, this is the consequence. You kill a dog, this is a consequence. Going on scale.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing in the suttas?
Yeah, very good question. Because some people have argued that there is what you call in Sanskrit and Pali, this is kamma sarikata. That means the action is actually repeated as a result the other ways around. Buddhism does not teach it like that. Our actions generate a force called kamma. Right? So result is not going to be identical with the action. Now, if you say, I kill you in this life, next life, you kill me. So that type of very, very simple then, right? There is no philosophy behind that sort of thing. That is called kamma sarikkhata. The Buddha's kamma is not like that. But some popular stories are there among Buddhists telling that when you sort of kill somebody, for instance, one story is that you killed a lamb, right? One in this life. Then the 500 times the lamb will kill you. So tit for tat. That simplicity is not there in kamma niyama. It's a very complex thing. So the evil force will bring you results in different ways. So no similarity between the action and the result. But that sort of stories are there to make people, I think seriously about the thing that's going to happen to me. So if I kill an ant, next time I will be killed by that ant 500 times. Not that sort of revenging type of idea is in Buddhism. Right? And the the killing ants, when it comes to that, sometimes you kill ants without knowing that you are killing. When you are sitting like that, ants are coming and you just change your position of the leg, then ant is under your feet and get killed. That sort of things have no kamma because there is no motive or intention. If you intend to kill the ant, of course, and you spray the poisonous thing on the ants, then of course you are intentionally killing them, then it will be bad. But when you don't know that you are doing it, when you sit on your chair, there must have been a sort of cockroach or someone. You sat on it, it got killed. But for that, it's unintentionally done, so only you have to get your trouser washed.
To be born as a woman in Buddhism, is it good or bad?
I think it's good. Why? Because the woman is the only one who is able to give a new life to another person who is going to be born. In my womb, there will be, I don't have a womb. I can't produce a child. Only my wife could do that. So, she is very lucky, blessed in that way. She could give birth to a bodhisattva. Right? But I can't do that even if I want to be a father who a bodhisattva without the help of wife. I couldn't do that.
Why is female cannot be arahant?
Can be arahant. She can, definitely. Arahant can, yeah. Only in... You can become a Buddha. Theravadins will say that the day you become Buddha, you will be a man. But the Vajrayana, and in later Mahayana works also, it is possible, but there is a snag. The problem is that this is a man-dominated world. Male chauvinism is always there. So even if a woman becomes Buddha, men will keep on repeating to accept him. So there is no point in trying to become a women Buddha. Men keep on refusing. So this is man's world. Unfortunately, the man has taken that decision that we don't respect. I had, when I was doing my PhD in Lanka University, I had a girl from America doing a PhD with me, and she is a very philosophical girl, Renee Reed. She was telling me, when I go America, I'll start a religion. I call my religion Reneeism. So far, she has not managed to do that. Nobody takes that woman seriously to have a religion called Reneeism. Unfortunately, it is the situation. Women are rather deprived of that opportunity. Otherwise, there is no philosophical reason for women not to be able to enlighten as Buddhas.
But they can become an arahant.
Can. And in my personal point of view, I think they can become Buddhas, but then they will have to be like Pacceka Buddhas, not announcing that I have attained Buddha.